the monster who stole the stars. Once upon a time, in a quiet valley surrounded by rolling hills and thick forests, there lived a peculiar monster named Glimmer. Unlike the fearsome creatures told in bedtime stories, Glimmer was neither scary nor mean. He was big and clumsy, with soft blue fur that shimmered under the sun, and his large, round eyes sparkled with curiosity. But what made Glimmer truly special was his love for shiny things. From the moment he could remember, Glimmer had been drawn to anything that glittered. He spent his days collecting smooth, golden pebbles from the riverbank, polished silver buttons he found near the old village, and even tiny bits of glass that caught the light just right. Each treasure had a special place in his wooden treasure chest, which he guarded with great care. One evening, as Glimmer lay on his favorite grassy hill, he stared up at the sky, sighing in admiration. The stars twinkled like diamonds scattered across a velvet blanket. He had never seen anything so dazzling. "Oh, how they shine," he whispered to himself. "If only I could add them to my collection, they would be the most wonderful treasures of all." A gentle night breeze rustled through the trees as he sat up, a sudden idea forming in his mind. What if he could gather the stars, just like he collected pebbles and buttons? Surely, if he had them close, he could admire their glow whenever he wanted, without waiting for nightfall. Excited, Glimmer scrambled to his feet and ran home to fetch his treasure chest. It was large and sturdy, its wooden surface worn smooth from years of collecting. He opened the lid and grinned. There was still plenty of space for more treasures, especially for something as precious as stars. Armed with determination, Glimmer returned to the hill and stretched out his big, fuzzy hands toward the sky. At first, he wasn't sure how to reach them. He tried jumping, but his heavy feet only made the ground shake. He tried waving his arms, but the stars stayed stubbornly out of reach. Then he noticed a low-hanging star near the tallest tree. Its golden light flickered gently as if inviting him closer. Carefully, Glimmer climbed up the tree, his large hands gripping the sturdy branches. When he reached the top, he reached out and, to his surprise, the star settled gently into his palm. "Got you," he whispered excitedly. The little star glowed warmly in his hands, twinkling as if uncertain about its new home. Glimmer cradled it carefully and placed it inside his treasure chest. The star's glow illuminated the other objects, making them sparkle even more beautifully. "This is amazing," he chuckled. "I must get more." One by one, he reached for more stars, plucking them from the sky like ripe fruit. Some stars were shy, darting away when he tried to catch them, but others settled into his hands without resistance. Soon, his chest was glowing with golden light, filled with twinkling stars that pulsed softly against the wooden walls. As the night deepened, Glimmer continued his work, eager to collect as many stars as possible. He didn't notice that the sky above was growing darker with each one he took. The once glittering night had turned into an empty void, a vast sea of blackness stretching endlessly above. It wasn't until he reached for another star and found none left that he paused. The sky was empty. There was no more light. "Huh," Glimmer murmured, scratching his furry head. Where did they all go? He looked down at his treasure chest, which now shone like a golden sun. A proud smile spread across his face. "They're all here," he chuckled. "And now, they're mine to keep forever." Satisfied with his night's work, he carried the chest home, humming to himself. He placed it beside his bed and admired the way the tiny lights twinkled inside. he imagined how much brighter his collection would be with time. Perhaps there were even shinier things he hadn't discovered yet. As Glimmer drifted off to sleep, dreaming of all the treasures he would find, the valley outside remained in complete darkness. The soft glow that once guided the animals through the night had vanished. The owls, who relied on the stars to navigate the skies, flapped uncertainly in the darkness. The fireflies, who danced under the moonlight, flickered weakly, confused by the sudden change. A hush fell over the land as creatures big and small wondered what had happened to their beloved stars. But Glimmer, unaware of the confusion he had caused, slept soundly, his arms wrapped around his glowing treasure chest, believing he had done something wonderful. Little did he know, his love for shiny things had taken the light away from the world, and soon the creatures of the valley would come searching for answers. Glimmer woke up feeling happier than ever. His treasure chest glowed beside him, casting golden light across his cozy cave. He stretched his furry arms and yawned, then turned to admire his collection. The stars inside twinkled softly, as if whispering to one another. "They're even more beautiful up close," he murmured, his heart swelling with pride. Eager to see how his stars looked in the daylight, Glimmer carried the chest outside. But as he stepped onto the grassy hill, he froze. Something was wrong. The valley was darker than it should have been. Even though it was morning, the sky was not its usual soft blue. Instead, it was a deep, murky gray, as if the sun had forgotten to rise. Glimmer blinked in confusion. "That's strange. Maybe it's just a cloudy day." But as he looked around, he saw that the world was not just dark. It was silent. Too silent. Usually the birds would be chirping, the rabbits would be hopping through the meadows, and the river would be glistening under the sun. But now, the air felt heavy. The river looked dull and lifeless. The trees stood still, their leaves barely rustling. Then he heard it, a soft, frightened hoot from above. Glimmer turned and saw an owl perched on a low branch, his large eyes wide with worry. Where are the stars?" the owl asked, his voice trembling. Glimmer hesitated. "Oh, don't worry, I have them," he said proudly, patting his treasure chest. "I collected them last night. They were too beautiful to stay in the sky all alone." The owl's feathers ruffled in alarm. "You took them?" he gasped. "But the stars guide us at night. Without them, we can't see where we're going." Before Glimmer could respond, more animals appeared from the darkness. Deer, foxes, rabbits, and even tiny fireflies. Their eyes were filled with confusion and fear. "The night was so dark," whispered a small rabbit, shivering. "I got lost trying to find my burrow." "The fireflies have lost their glow," said a fox, nodding toward the tiny creatures hovering nearby. Their lights flickered weakly, barely visible in the thick darkness. Glimmer's ears drooped. He had never thought about what the stars meant to the animals. To him, they were just pretty things to collect. But to everyone else, they were something much more important. I didn't mean to cause trouble," he said softly. "I just love shiny things, and the stars were the shiniest of all." The owl sighed. "Glimmer, the stars don't belong to just one person. They belong to the sky. They help us all." Glimmer looked down at his glowing treasure chest. He had been so excited to add the stars to his collection that he hadn't considered how others might feel. Just then, a tiny firefly fluttered closer. She was the smallest of them all, her light barely flickering. Maybe he didn't know, she said gently. Maybe we can help him understand. Glimmer looked at the little firefly, his heart heavy with guilt. He didn't want to keep the stars if they were meant to help others. But he wasn't sure what to do next. As the valley remained cloaked in darkness, the firefly's words lingered in his mind. Maybe it wasn't too late to make things right. Glimmer sat on the grass, staring at his glowing treasure chest. He had never thought about where the stars truly belonged. He had only wanted to admire them up close, to keep their beauty all to himself. But now, seeing the frightened faces of the animals, he felt a strange ache in his heart. The little firefly, who had spoken so kindly before, fluttered closer. Her tiny wings buzzed softly as she landed on Glimmer's furry hand. Despite her small size, her glow was warm and comforting. "My name is Flicker," she said gently. "I know you didn't mean to hurt anyone, Glimmer, but sometimes, when we take something that belongs to everyone, we don't realize the harm we cause." Glimmer sighed and hugged his knees. "I didn't think about that," he admitted. "I just love shiny things so much. I thought the stars would be happiest in my collection." Flicker nodded. "I understand. I love glowing too. But do you know why fireflies light up?" Glimmer tilted his head. "Because you like being shiny?" Flicker giggled. "Not exactly. We glow to help each other. Our lights guide us in the dark so we don't get lost. When you took the stars, the whole world lost its light." The other fireflies, who had been hovering nearby, twinkled faintly. "We tried our best to glow brighter," one of them said. "But without the stars, it wasn't enough." Glimmer looked around at the worried animals, their eyes filled with hope and uncertainty. He had never considered how much they needed the stars. He had only been thinking about himself. Flicker landed on his nose and smiled. "The stars shine best when they're up high, where everyone can see them. Just like fireflies, they're meant to light the way for others." Glimmer's large eyes widened as the truth finally sank in. He had taken something precious from the world without realizing its purpose. The stars weren't just treasures, they were a gift to all creatures. A deep sense of guilt filled his chest. I didn't mean to be selfish," he said softly. "I just wanted to keep the stars close. But now I see that they don't belong in a box. They belong in the sky." Flicker beamed. "That's the spirit, Glimmer, and it's not too late to fix things." The other animals perked up at her words. "You mean the stars can come back?" asked the owl hopefully. Glimmer stood up, his determination growing. "Yes," he said firmly. "I'll put them back where they belong." The creatures cheered, their fear slowly turning into excitement. Even the fireflies twinkled a little brighter. Glimmer took a deep breath and placed his large hands on the lid of his treasure chest. The warm golden glow seeped through the cracks, as if the stars inside were eager to be free. "I'll set them free," he promised, looking up at the dark sky. "And I'll make things right." With Flicker's guidance, Glimmer prepared to return the stars to their rightful place. He had learned an important lesson, one he would never forget. Glimmer stood on the grassy hill, his glowing treasure chest before him. He took a deep breath, his heart pounding. The sky above remained empty, a vast sea of darkness stretching endlessly. The animals watched in silence, their eyes filled with hope. Flicker, the tiny firefly, who had helped him understand his mistake, hovered beside him. "Are you ready, Glimmer?" she asked softly. Glimmer nodded. "Yes, it's time to put the stars back where they belong." With great care, he lifted the lid of the chest. A soft golden light spilled out, casting a warm glow over the valley. The stars inside twinkled eagerly, as if they, too, longed to return home. He reached inside and gently picked up the first star. It felt warm in his palm, pulsing like a tiny heartbeat. Taking a deep breath, he raised his arm and tossed the star into the sky. As soon as it left his hand, the star shot upward, spinning and twirling until it found its place in the night. It shimmered brightly, its golden light cutting through the darkness. The animals gasped in amazement. "You did it!" Flicker cheered. Encouraged, Glimmer picked up another star and sent it soaring into the sky. Then another and another. Each one flew higher and higher, settling back into its rightful place. The valley, once shrouded in darkness, slowly began to glow again. The owls flapped their wings excitedly as the sky brightened. "I can see again!" one of them hooted. The fireflies danced joyfully, their own tiny lights flickering in celebration. The rabbits and foxes gazed up in wonder, their fear melting away with each returning star. Glimmer worked tirelessly, carefully releasing each star. With every one that returned, his heart felt lighter. He no longer felt sad about letting them go. Instead, he felt something new, something even better. By the time the last star took its place in the sky, the world was beautiful once more. The night sparkled with a million tiny lights, just as it should. The moon, now shining brightly, bathed the valley in a peaceful glow. Glimmer sat back, gazing at the sky with a smile. He had never realized how beautiful the stars were from a distance. Flicker landed on his shoulder. "See? They shine even brighter when they're shared." Glimmer nodded. "You're right. I thought keeping them would make me happy, but letting them go feels even better." The animals gathered around him, their eyes full of gratitude. "Thank you, Glimmer," said the owl. "You gave the stars back to all of us." Glimmer grinned. "I'm just glad I could fix my mistake." From that night on, Glimmer still loved collecting shiny things, but only ones that belonged to no one else. And every evening, he would sit on his hill, looking up at the stars, knowing they were exactly where they were meant to be. Moral of the story: true happiness comes from sharing, not keeping things for ourselves.